What if you could make your phone recognize pictures faster? Like, what if it could find your face in a crowd of 100 people in just 1 second? You might think it's magic, but it's actually a clever trick called pooling. You're about to learn how it works. Imagine you're looking for a specific toy in a big box filled with toys. You would look at the box, but you wouldn't look at every single toy one by one. That's kind of what pooling does, but with pictures. Let's use an example a toy box. Imagine you have a big box of toys, and you want to find a specific toy. You wouldn't look at every single toy one by one. Instead, you would look at the box, see the toys in groups, and then find the group with the toy you want. That's kind of what pooling does, but with pictures. It looks at groups of pixels, not just one pixel at a time. This helps the computer focus on the important parts of the picture. Now, let's see how this works with pictures. There are two main types of pooling, max pool and average pool. Max pool looks at a group of pixels and says, what's the biggest value here? It then uses that biggest value to represent the whole group. Average pool does something similar, but it looks at all the values and says, what's the average value here? It then uses that average value to represent the whole group. This helps the computer simplify the picture and focus on the important parts. Let's see how this works with numbers. Imagine you have a group of pixels with values 10, 20, 30, and 40. Max pool would say, the biggest value is 40, so I'll use that. Average pool would say, the average value is 25, so I'll use that. Let's see an example of how this works. Imagine we have a picture of a cat, and we want to use max pool to simplify it. We would divide the picture into groups of pixels, like 2 by 2 squares. Then, we would look at each group and say, what's the biggest value here? We would use that biggest value to represent the whole group. Let's see what happens when we do this with our picture of a cat. The computer would look at the picture, divide it into groups, and then simplify it using max pool. The result would be a simpler picture that still looks like a cat. So, why does this matter? Well, when computers can simplify pictures, they can recognize them faster. This is important for things like self-driving cars, which need to recognize pictures of the road and other cars quickly. It's also important for things like facial recognition, which needs to recognize pictures of faces quickly. By using pooling, computers can do these tasks faster and more accurately. So, let's recap what we learned. We learned that pooling helps computers simplify pictures. We learned that there are two main types of pooling, max pool and average pool. And we learned that pooling is important for things like self-driving cars and facial recognition. That's a lot of cool stuff. You now know how AI can shrink images to super speed. Next time, we'll learn about how AI can learn from its mistakes. It's like how you learn from your mistakes when you're playing a game. But with AI, it's way more complex and cool. Don't forget to subscribe for more AI lessons. #AI for Kids, #Computer Vision, #Machine Learning.